phone is a really significant device for all of us. In total, there are 7.26 billion of people around the world that own a phone or own phones, which add up to 91.64% of the world's population. Well, I bet that all of you guys in the class, including my teacher and the viewers too, also own a phone or phones. Well, I do own mine too. Good afternoon, teacher and everybody. My name is Upamanin. I'm 12 years old. I'm from level 581 in Balti International School. And today, I'm going to talk about the origin of phones, but in detail. So, before I start my presentation, I'd like all of you to know a keyword first that is kind of really important for our topic, which is phone. So, what is a phone? A phone is a device that you can mainly talk to each other from distance far away, but you can also use it for a variety of purposes. Well, a phone has developed a lot since when it was first invented, from a phone that looks like this and you cannot carry around, to a smartphone that you can carry around and looks like this. Yes, and I'm sure that you all might be wondering who created the first phone and why did he create the first phone? What was his first interest? Well, the first inventors of the phone were not easy to determine. It starts off by two people, which is Alexander Graham Bell and Elisha Gray. They both sent a patent application concerning about telephone to the patent office in Washington. Well, Elisha Gray's application went to the patent office first before Bell's, but in the end, the patent office has registered Bell's application before Gray's. And this means that Bell's application was approved and it is officially registered, confirming that the invention worked. Well, why did he create that? What was his first interest? His first interest came through his mother, who was deaf, and his father, who was an educator of elocution, and he had developed the deaf people to learn how to speak. Yes, and his father was offered a teaching post in the school, but he recommended to his son instead. Well, at that time, both father and son worked really hard about trying to find whether the sound could be made visible to the deaf people with the help of telegraphy. Well, however, there are already many people who had already pursuing the idea of making the telephone. This is one of the reasons why Alexander Graham Bell was accused of exploiting, stealing, plus dishonesty and fraudulent for his invention. And the evidence was that in the first inventors of the telephone's laboratory, the material were lost without any trace, and which Alexander Graham Bell was carrying out for his experiment. In fact, that Alexander Graham Bell think that and saw that there is no need to send any patent to the office to sell the telephone in the Nordic country, which means that anyone can manufacture, can invent or sell the telephone anywhere. So yes, Alexander Graham Bell telephone, he presented it in front of like a huge audience for the first time in like the World's Exhibition in Philadelphia on June 1876. And yes, well, first of all, the first version of Bell's phone was not suitable for any practical purposes. But yes, the first telephone that Bell invented arrived to Europe first to be represented as like the phone in Plymouth to the British Association by the brief engineering of the General World Office in the presence of Bell himself. As this presentation we all have seen that Bell's invention or recreation was a really huge success for him and for all the people around the world. As you can see, a telephone, this is the evolution of the telephone. It went from this until to a smartphone like this. From a phone that you can only talk to each other from distance far away to a phone that has many cool features that you can use it on your smartphone. Well, let's be real here. All of you, like in the class, including me and the teacher, not only use your phone to just call each other and then stop using it. You guys also use it to play game, YouTube, or you guys use it to text, to store documents, and to listen to music, and to do researches too. So this is why a phone is really important in our life. Yes, and it's such a huge success for him. Well, my presentation has come to the end, and I would like to thank all you guys, including my teacher, for listening to my presentation from the first until the end. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.